making jingly ice noises. If you can believe it, I finished the cocktail video I was making before I started the stream. Will wonders never cease? French fries are cooked in grease. Hi, Mega Leech, by the way. Having a paloma. Tequila and grapefruit soda. Very dry cocktail. Ooh, gosh. Because my grapefruit soda does not have any sugar in it. If I'd made that with the very popular Mexican Jarritos soda, it would be a very sweet drink. But, there you go. Not even artificial sweetness in this. Anyway, bright drink. And I emptied my hexagonal tequila bottle, which I was thinking of keeping because it's a neat shape. But I also have limited space for bottles I'm keeping. And young Mr. Angry has a friend who's been collecting unusual shaped bottles for vases. And I did donate a couple from my collection. So I'm in two minds as to whether he gets the hexagon bottle for his friend. Yes, hexagons, the bestagons. Certainly better than that fashy pentagon. Don't trust a pentagon, being so aligned with the CIA. I've got this overwhelming urge to go and look at the bottles I have and say, is there a boring 700ml bottle? Because if there's a boring 700ml bottle, I'll chuck it out and keep the hexagon. If I don't have any boring ones, I'll maybe donate. Because I did empty another one. I may have been saying recently I wasn't going to make more barrel-aged cocktails for a while. Well, I made one today. But so I won't be decanting that for 3 or 4 weeks. Mind you, I've got another one there that I'll be decanting tomorrow because it's been in there 4 weeks. Strictly Sega, hello. Yes, on behalf of invaders everywhere. Hello. But anyway, I made, it's a whiskey and Dubonnet cocktail with a few other twists in it. So it's kind of a variation on a Manhattan. And I emptied a couple bottles yet again. It's like, I keep saying I never empty bottles, and I feel like I've been emptying bottles all the time. But just because I make these batch cocktails, which then last for weeks or months on. Oh gosh, yeah, okay. You got a loud party down the road. I'll be keeping it relatively quiet. Unless I'm able to bait some dickhead bogans, because that's always fun. So, what was I thinking? Yep, it's just down to I'm now spoiled for bottles. Besides the hexagon bottle, I emptied this rye whiskey bottle that I got quite a ways back. An American rye whiskey from Colorado. No, not Colorado. The place where the Mormons come from. Utah? Utah's where the Mormons are, isn't it? And I thought Mormons, because they were there, it was like a dry state, wouldn't have a distillery, but they do. But anyway, it's the brand is called High West. And thanks, Alexandra and Mega Leach, for both jumping with Utah. I'm sure you typed it before I said it, but there's a delay when I see it. And yeah, so yeah, this distillery calls themselves High West, and they're definitely going for an old Wild West vibe. The bottles, I'd fish it out of the sink. It's soaking to get the label to come off, but I don't know how well it'd show up on the stream, comparatively low res anyway. But the bottles are deliberately made in a way that makes them look like old, not very slick production methods. Like there's a lot of air bubbles in the glass. The glass is of different thicknesses. So it's like it's made in a really primitive way. I'll have to look. Well, I could look it up now. I'm on the internet. I was thinking I have to look up how they make their bottles. Let's see if I can find out how they make their bottles. Let's put in High West whiskey. Okay. And you can visit them. They have a distillery and tasting room. I'm not going to America for a while, so High West plus Huckberry. Where are we? About us, our story. They're in Park City, Utah. Utah cast the deciding vote to repeal prohibition, with a representative saying no other state shall take this glory from Utah. High West becomes... there you go. In 2006, they opened, becoming Utah's first legal distillery since 1870. And then they opened a saloon in 2009. So they've got a whole saloon, the livery. What do they have in terms of limited? I'm sure I can't buy limited releases from them. You know, I'm just going to do a search. How do High West whiskey make their bottle? Because I can't see it easily anywhere. I'm thinking Utah distillery opt for bottling upgrade. A High West bottle's hand blown, made from 100% lead-free hand-blown glass, lighter than leaded glass, equally durable. So they're hand blown. Huh. So that's why they look handmade, because they are. Oh, yes. See, Alexander, the Roku gin bottle is extremely similar to... Well, okay, actually, I've got another bottle from the same maker. Prospero tequila. This is their Añejo tequila. Their aged tequila. So, not sure how well that's showing up. But it's a hexagonal bottle. And it's pretty cool. So very similar to the Roku gin bottle. Oh, Jesus. Strictly Sego. Sorry, just what you were saying. I know you said you were on the waterfront. You thought it'd been nice living at work, walking distance. Dude smashed your front window. God damn. That's harsh. Yes, as the actress said to the bishop. Hand blown indeed. So, yeah. So I have one of these, and the glass is also embossed. It says Prospero down the side. Name of the distiller. 100% agave. Made an old-fashioned with this and agave syrup as the sweetener. It's really nice. All right. Und so. I'm probably making at least one more cocktail video tonight. A bee's knees. Because it needs orange juice. And this orange is ready for... I don't have any orange peel for a drink tonight. How depressing. Didn't plan very well. Should have gone to the supermarket today. All I've got is an unripe lemon. That won't do. I don't think I have anything else. Sometimes I forget what I have, but no, the fruit bowl's over there on my desk and there's no fruit in it. C'est la vie. C'est la vie. So, okay, this is one of those scary ones because it's all soda and what thing. Well, I like big, healthy swaths of peel, not these weird, skinny things. Although, Mrs. Angry has some in the freezer. Let me try this. All right, look at this. It's like a baggie. Got a little baggie of drugs, except it's orange peel. Oh, that's a decent. Of course, they've all bloody stuck together. Of course, they have. Oh, that looks okay. I'll let that thaw out a bit. I'd be bereft if I didn't have an orange peel in my cocktails. And then Mrs. Angry wouldn't have a flavoured orange peel to put in her. Actually, you know what? I could put it in this to thaw it out. I'll just stick it in me Hoosie Watts. Oh, Jesus. So you were on here. You got up to grab some Oreos. Heard an idiot yelling at himself. Turns up front of the place. Tell me to come out. Hide behind the computer screen. Oh, no. Text message. Is this going to be spam? It's not. It's a real text message. Is it weird now that you get kind of excited when a text message is not spam? My food delivery coming tomorrow. So you're thinking you're glad the door's locked and Smash and tries to climb in. Oh my God. This is a fucking drama. I love that. You asked him, who the fuck does that? That's someone not in their right state. That doesn't taste like alcohol, which is always dangerous. I don't usually have highballs. They hide the alcohol too much. Where's my Trello? Okay, so Paloma can go from to do to doing. I'm going to make a bee's knees because I made a honey syrup for it. It has honey syrup and orange juice and gin. Just think of the whole thing. This guy busting in. My God. That's a whole damn thing, isn't it? Good Lord. I mean, what can you do with someone like that? The marmalade I used for a breakfast martini the other day. I'll put it back in the fridge. So after trying to climb in, he climbs out and storms off calling you an idiot. That's a person with issues right there. Oh, dude, that would stress me the fuck out. Like that's an extreme rarity. Someone like smashing a window like that when you're right there, but Jesus Christ. I would not like that. Okay. Oh. Quite traumatizing, I would think, actually. Yeah, no, I absolutely understand that because I've been in fraught situations in the past, and after the fact, it's very difficult not to question yourself. It's hard to remember. It's not about you. That was a worryingly off balance, unbalanced, deranged person. Yeah, and okay, that's also a really common feeling. You know, you're in shock, you're defenseless, but ultimately, nothing bad happened to you. Yeah, but and this whole thing, wishing you'd done something, perfectly natural reaction. The danger is doing something could have easily escalated it, and something much, 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 much worse could have happened. So, absolutely understand the feelings. I'm not just saying that in an abstract way. Having been through fraught situations, I've been exactly the same, just really overthinking it and, oh, what should I have done differently? You came through it. Uh, that's a win. And while we can have all the ideas in our head about what I could have done, what I should have done, all those things, uh, all it just could have so easily escalated into completely out of control situation. Like, even if you had said, you know, like, I think it would have been really natural to say something like, "Fuck off, or I'll put a brick through your head." Even just saying something uh, could have made the person do something awful, and that's not sad. The the fact that you're not a violent person and don't react well to violence, uh, that's not bad. That is not a slight on you. We're fed a mythology that you should do something and take action, but it's very real that that is something that just happens to all of us. Oh yeah, Dr. Abigail, your counselor's been explaining fight, flight, freeze. Yeah, lizard brain out. Yeah, there are some base level reflexes that can be very difficult to overcome. Oh yeah, and strictly saying, that's exactly what I thought of a range of scenarios, um, where someone frankly fucking deserved it, and I didn't do anything, and after the fact, you keep thinking, ugh. So Alexander, you got your firearms license. You can protect it. Yeah, it's not legal or practical. Yeah. No, no, dude. Again, being scared is a perfectly natural reaction. Uh, it's extremely negative to call it weakness, and for the vast majority of us, it's an uncontrollable reaction. Hi, Liam. How are you doing? Um, So yeah, I mean, that's a whole hell of a story. And my takeaway from it is you came through it unscathed. It was a freaky, scary situation. Could have so easily spiraled out of control into a truly awful ending. I'd call you the winner. Yes, Alexander. Hang on, burglar. Open the gun safe. Select a Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's yes, but I'm sure. Look, even if it gave your partner a false sense of comfort, there's comfort. Yep, that's really common. That the freeze thing. Um, Common is not weakness. Is normal human reaction. And like I said, the thing we're sold about taking action and defending yourself with family, um, is an extremely dangerous mythology, basically. Gets a lot of people hurt who otherwise would not be hurt. So, yep, I just take the win. Like I said, when I look back on some freaky occurrences and the I'm just thinking one time I got jumped on a train when I was living in Sydney by these fucking youths. So I was in my 20s, so I was pretty much youth. But in the end, I got a bruise or two. One guy had sort of grabbed my money and run off, and I chased him, and no one else was there. So I just basically caught this guy, and eventually someone from the station came along, and he dropped my shit, and someone said, "Do you want me to hold him?" And I went, "Oh, just fuck him, let him go." And sometimes I thought, should have fucked that guy up. Okay, I'll tell the story. I've probably told it at some point before, but I definitely haven't for a while. So, this was a very long time ago. I'm early 20s. My girlfriend at the time was a nurse. She was living in the nurses' quarters at the hospital and out in the western suburbs, Auburn, and I was living in Redfern. And so I had to get a train back at the end of the night because they weren't letting any gentlemen callers stay in the residence at night. So I'm on a late train coming in from the western suburbs. It's pretty much empty. And then these youths come on. And one of them, this big fat fuck, just in an empty thing sort of sits next to me. And then they basically start fucking with, and there's like 6 or 8 of them. And they realize, they're basically trying to see how far they can push me. And it's like, well, I can't physically retaliate. There was like 6 or 8 of them. And any physical retaliation on my part, yeah, Icy Saracen, these were proto-eshays because this was 30 years ago. So the term didn't exist back then. They were just Westies. And they were just fucking with me. And they know they were trying to get money. And one guy was trying to be the good guy. He's like, oh, you better give him something. I'm trying to stop him from hurting you. But you're going to... And here's the kicker. I was largely unemployed, but I had a part-time job that paid in cash. And I had just been paid that day. And all the cash was in my wallet. It was like all the money I'd have for 2 weeks. And I thought, they're not getting my wallet. And so I thought, maybe this guy's not lying. Like if I give him a 20, they'll fuck off. Because again, I couldn't retaliate because there was too many of them. And me pulling my wallet out of my pocket happened to coincide with the train coming into Strathfield where it stopped. And the first fucker who'd sat down opposite me sort of smacked me in the side of the head and grabbed at my wallet and got my wallet and ran off the train. And that's what shook me. And I ran after him. And the rest of them didn't come off the train. One weedy little fucker did come off afterwards. If you don't know Strathfield Station in Sydney, there's a lot of platforms on it and there's a lot of tracks. And the very last one in the direction this guy was running, he was running across the tracks, climbing a platform, running across, and I'm chasing him. The last track where I finally caught him is where the country trains come, like the train from Dubbo. And so trains hardly ever come on this track. It's not a suburban community thing. It's largely empty. And this is where I finally caught this guy. And he's on his bum. And I've sort of got him from behind. And I've got my arm around his neck. And I'm not even strangling him. I'm just holding him. And I'm saying, give me my fucking wallet, you piece of shit. And he's not giving me my wallet. And again, my brain wasn't working. The things after the fact, I'll tell you three nasty things I thought of after the fact. One was I should have choked the motherfucker out. Like I wasn't trying to hurt him. I was just holding him. Why wasn't I trying to hurt this fuck? I should have choked the fucker out. The other nasty thing, they have these big blue metal stones on the train tracks. It's ballast on the tracks in Sydney. I could have picked one up and caved the motherfucker's head in, and I didn't. And then what ended up? Oh, the little weedy fuck. Um, um, he come over, and I don't know. He's trying to get me to let go of the guy. And one thing he's like, he's trying to scare me. He's going, "Oh, look out! There's a train coming. You have to get up." And I knew there was no train coming, and it's like it's a pathetic thing. And so I'm screaming in his face, doing my nutso act. I'm just screaming, "Good, good. Then we'll all fucking die. Are you ready to die? Because I'll hold this fucker here and die with him." And which weirded this guy out a bit. And then he said he's gonna punch me. He's gonna punch you in the head. And he was just this weedy little fuck. I've taken hits before. I could take this fuckwit punching me. And so I'm just staring him in the face and screaming, "Go on then, fucking do it. Take your best shot, you little fuck." And at this point, he's reasonably convinced I'm crazy. And so he's too weirded out to do anything. And then someone else on the train who'd seen what happened got someone from the station. And this is where someone from the station comes out and goes, "Oi!" And this guy instantly drops my wallet. And I didn't give a shit about him. So I let him go at that point. And the weedy little fuck runs away. And then this stupid fat bastard goes, and he's trying to climb this fence. There's like a brick fence. I knew like it was about 2 meters high, this fence. I knew because I knew this station. It was about a 4 meter drop on the other side. Like he was too useless to climb this. He could kind of reach the top of it, but he was too useless. I don't think I could have climbed it either. But he's sort of trying to climb, and I had this thought because I knew it was like a 4 or 5 meter drop on the other side. Just for a second, I had this dark thing actually help him over and just hoik him over. So he goes over the top and hopefully lands on his fucking head on the other side. And I didn't. And the station goes, "You want me to hold him?" And I was just like, "Fuck him. I got my wallet. Fuck the guy." And I did have sort of little bruises and scratches. I got hit twice, I think. And yes, Megalich, I took a discus to my head. He's not worrying me. But I've done it more than once in a situation where sort of throwing a return punch was not really a viable option for a number of reasons. Usually it's this massive outnumbering thing. A couple of different occasions, someone's taken a swing and punched me in the head, and I've just not reacted. Just go, yeah. Yeah. And that has a tendency to freak people out a little bit. And like in both times when I did this, it fucking hurt. It fucking hurt getting punched. But I just didn't betray anything. And I was just like, yeah, okay. It's just an happy invasion day. Survival day is another positive. It's probably a more positive way to put it, but I say both. So yes, that was my little adventure. And after the fact, I thought of all these things. Like the very first thing I should have done when these fuckwits, or in fact, it was just one fuckwit, came into an empty carriage and sat straight opposite me, I should have got up and moved, because that's a fuckwit who wants trouble. See, Music Avatar, I was going to call them the first boat people, but we still don't really know how a viable population of humans got to Australia. There was the old land bridge theory, which has been pretty conclusively debunked. So the most likely thing is 50 or 60,000 years ago, when seafaring was not a thing, like people moved island to island, like, basically in canoes. You could see the next island, so you'd go to that sort of thing. It was quite uncommon for. Okay, now again, of course, it's not like we have documented records at the time, but as I understand it, from a paleontologist's point of view, there is no evidence whatsoever of seafaring on a significant scale that long ago. But someone, again, all through, Southeast Asia, there's a succession of islands that people can move between, but none of them are visible from the Australian mainland. So somehow in a period of time when seafaring wasn't really a thing, a a sustainable number of humans traveled from neighboring islands like Indonesia, up to the Philippines, all through that area, and got to the Australian landmass and established a viable population, and over a period of who knows how many thousand years, spread across the entire continent. The fact we don't know how that happened blows my mind. So Strictly Sega, funny comedian, solve Australia Day, make it like the Purge. Oh gosh, that's pretty extreme. Return to the Frontier Wars. Ah, dear. When white people complain about it after 200 years, compromised by moving Triple J's Hottest 100. Wah wah. Which is this weekend, I suppose. Yeah, musical aviator. There are a massive number of unknowns. And of course, major seismic events happen. Islands and land masses that may have existed 50, 60,000 years ago may have gone under the ocean because of seismic events since then. And like I said, the original, not original, but a hypothesis that was certainly very popular for a while, that there was some sort of land bridge between the Australian continent and Asia, is being pretty much debunked as far as I understand it. Justin, I look again. You're getting into I'm trying to think of the right word. Dodgy territory, dangerous territory. Certainly, far outside my expertise, and actually, you know what? We're on the internet. Are people from PNG and Australian Aborigines genetically similar? We compared the genomes of Papuan people with Australian Aboriginals and discovered the two populations are actually strikingly distinct from each other. Saying they're as different as Han Chinese are to Danes. There was probably a separation 25 to 45,000 years ago. So there you go. Yes. Again, Torres Strait Islanders. Look, and all people through the Southeast Asian archipelagos have been going island to island for thousands of years. But people have been in Australia for at least 50 or 60,000 years. And all the evidence says there was no significant seafaring that far back. Oh, sorry. The drifting continents, yes, that happens over millions, if not billions of years. I don't know what the timeline is for that, but it's definitely many millions of years. And this is why I say all this about there not being a land bridge or more islands that aren't there. Big seismic events happen, and our understanding and our ability to interpret evidence is not perfect. So yeah, well, it is not impossible for an active volcano to appear in Australia. We're pretty seismically stable, but we do, on rare occasions, have significant earthquakes. And this old world of ours is very unpredictable. And I mean, just across the water, New Zealand, the youngest major landmass in the world, incredibly seismically active. Yes, anyone who thinks they can conclusively predict what's going to happen seismically. Justin, Hawaiians and Maori, super different, separated by huge distances. But they both did have within their realm, a seafaring warrior culture. But that's canoes, and that's again because Hawaii is a series of islands. People, again, when people can see a landmass, they have the confidence to. I'm going to get my little canoe and get to that landmass, and you can do that. But Australia is not visible from any of the islands. Like, it's quite a trek, and the idea that a viable, sustainable population would land on Australia by accident is pretty weird. It's not impossible. But, depending who you believe, the number of people required to develop a viable, sustainable population is anywhere from a couple hundred to a couple thousand people. But I mean, there are a massive amount of unknowns. I mean, maybe it was aliens. Maybe aliens just shifted people from the Pacific Islands to the Australian continent. Strictly saying, doing a history class. If Mrs. George was interesting, might have done better in year 8 history. I wish I did history at school, actually. I avoided it because I thought they had to write too much. I wish I did history and geography. Basically politics and all those things. So, yeah, it's here's the weird thing, because I don't want to get into super weird territory, because I'm not saying the arrival of first human inhabitants here is impossible or magic or aliens were involved or whatever. What I'm saying is we don't know, and I find that very interesting. Seems like a big question to me. And I don't know that there's been a huge amount of research into it because we just don't know. At best, there are some fairly flimsy hypotheses. And like I said, the big one that people used to say, land bridge between Asia and the Australian continent, I'm pretty sure has mostly been debunked. Strictly saying, I did physics. I did physics and engineering because I thought they were more guy stuff. So you think there was a triathlon? The swim leg boys got taken by lobsters. Swimmers got lost and ended up in Australia. Look, again, it would have been very easy for people to be lost at sea and survive long enough to get washed up in Australia. 1 or 2 people. But again, the whole thing is a viable population. A bunch of research. Well, okay. Obviously, people have looked into it, but, and I would be actually super happy to be proven wrong. I would be extremely happy to be proven wrong. But to the best of my knowledge, there's not even a halfway decent hypothesis. Just like, So how did the first people get to Australia? What shows up? Okay, here's one from ANU, the Australian National University. Most likely route of first humans to Australia. Through Indonesia, Northern Ireland, into New Guinea, then Australia, which were part of a single continent between 50. Were they? When's this dated? 2018. So here's the whole thing. It's very easy for the outcome to be, I'm just wrong. Being wrong on the internet. These are saying, okay, this researcher thinks they were joined up 50,000 years ago. I thought that had been discredited. Archaeologists yet to explore most of Indonesia's northern islands. These islands could hold the key to the mystery. Oh, at least they're still saying it's a mystery. Findings challenge a popular theory that they travelled from Southeast Asia through Indonesian Timor, then across sea to reach Australia. Study modelled the least cost path from Southeast Asia to Australia, including visibility at sea. Okay, so indirect evidence for seafaring by humans. Proposed alternative route through Timor to the northwest coast seems less likely. Okay, I'm sure these people did really good research. This reporting on it's very, very high level. There we go. Credible claim number of people have made the crossing from Asia to the American continent. Yes, that has been credibly claimed. People moving through, an icy land bridge. Yes, I've heard that one. Sorry, what are you showing me in Discord, Megalich? Okay. So this is from Reddit, so I'm automatically a little bit dubious. All right, this is all too small for me to see. All right, okay. See, this has Australia. Again, see, I've maybe read the wrong stuff, or maybe this is the wrong stuff. But this has Australia joined to Papua New Guinea. Land of the Hobbits tipped you off. Yeah, those little. That may be referring to that race of little people that they found archaeological evidence for on Indonesian islands, I think. Justin, I think they hate it when you do that, but I also think you should try. I think they really hate the idea of you live streaming from a plane. Mind you, that recent crash, where was that again? Nepal? I'm trying to remember. But there's a recent crash. Someone was live streaming when the plane crashed, which is pretty freaking wild, quite honestly. Happened very suddenly. So yeah, having looked at this little study, I'm sure they did a good study. I would love to know more detail because, yeah, the key thing that got me thinking this is really significant distances. Like hopping island to island is something you can do over years, if not generations, making multiple trips when you can see where you're going and you know how to do it. But yeah, my understanding was there was a period where there was no island that was inside of Australia. But again, I don't want to say anything too conclusive because I simply don't know. Oh, yes. There you go. Music over there. It was Nepal. You saw that as well. Yeah. That was, that's some pretty wild shit. Oh, nice. Did a live stream from a plane, private plane from Bacchus Marsh, cut out near Lethbridge. Oh, there you go. Yes, somewhat tenuous internet in a little private plane, I think. But yeah, God, that changed so fast that, we suddenly have internet in the air. Not that I've traveled a lot, but yeah, my first couple of international flights, your entertainment was a single screen where they selected the movie, like you had headphones. My internet went out really suddenly. Okay. All right, I don't think everyone's fucking online gaming. It's still looking dodgy, so I don't know how stable it is. If it's stable at all. Hey, maybe I should connection is unstable. Zan, I have no idea what that means. 2 internet connections. You're paying 2 different ISPs? Oh, I think it's starting to come back now. Okay. I think we're back now. So, don't know if it's going to do that again. Okay. You know what? I'm going to make a drink. I'm going to make a bee's knees. So the first thing I have to do is juice my orange. So I have to go and get a juicer. Yeah. Okay. Gotta juice this. Gotta get my juicer. It's just down here, I think. Oops. Knocking stuff over. Never ending problem of trying to store Tupperware. Ugh. All right. So I need a knife. And all right. Saw through this. There we go. Okay. Got my little juicer. Gonna juice some orange. Oh, okay. I'm juicing. I'm sure it shows. All right. It's fun trying to juice them when you've peeled them like this too, because the skin goes really funny. Goes brittle. Ugh. Don't even really want to get all the juice out of them. Can it be fucked? That's probably enough. God, in fact, I only need half an ounce. All right. I'm going to wash my hands because they're all slippery now. All right. All right. That's lime juice. It's the honey syrup I made earlier because I am an industrious chap. Okay. Let's move these around so I can take a little video. Of making this. Alrighty, making the bee's knees. Okay, we got that. Wait, I want to put this back and get lemon juice out, and then choose a gin. And I might just try this. Archie Roses. Fundamental, that's what they call it. All right, that's there. Just got to move a few things around. Okay. Okay. All right, got to get my shaker from over here. Oh no, what am I doing? That's the stirring glass, not the shaking glass. This is the shaker. Get it together, son. Better get a lawyer, son. Better get a real good one. Fact. Might save myself a bit of time. Oh wait, what's I'm saying? What sort? Well, look how orange I am now because I got the orange filter on for the video camera. What are we doing? I am. Ooh, bee's knees. Just a coupe. All right. I'll get my coupe. I'll put some ice in it. Ice, baby. Do. All right. So we chill this glass. Okay. So half. All right. All right. Yeah, just so you can see me working. What's that all about? Okay. And so let's set this up. That for a bit. That's probably good. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMeon. All right. Okay. Honey syrup. Orange juice. Lemon juice. Right. Okay. Let's get everything ready. First thing. Pour some gin in. It's like drinking gin with nothing else in. Okay. And we're rolling. Lemon juice. Orange juice that I just squeezed. Nope, that's got a shit ton of pulp in it. And I don't like it. No, sir. I'm getting a fine strainer. No, there's nothing I didn't want to dirty my fine strainer unnecessarily, but it's necessary. Don't want little bits of shit in my drink. So you just want to leave the computer? Yep, it'll do. Okay. And finally, honey syrup. Okay, it's more watery than I thought it would be. I have this funny feeling I fucked something up, but that's okay. All right, moving shop. Okay. Set back up on the other side. Break on through to the other side. Turn the camera back around. Break on through to the other side. All right. All right. Oh, I fucked it up. So my subconscious was telling me it wasn't time to move yet. My subconscious often gets things right that my conscious gets wrong. I wanted to do a shot of putting it in the glass. All right. All right, so moving. All right, people with headphones beware. I'm going to shake this. It's a great colour. Let's see. Alright. And shooting. That's a decent wash line. Okay. And now we're done. It's a nice yellow drink. Now the brief talky bit. Hello, Kirsten, by the way. Oh, okay. All right. Do this. Is that right? No, I've got to put the angle down a little bit. That's right. Alrighty, got everything ready. Let's go. Yep, okay, here we go. Here we go. G'day, cocktail lovers. A nice variation on a gin sour is the bee's knees. It goes like this. Into our shaker, you put 2 ounces or 60 mils of dry gin. Then you want to do 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. Then do about 1/2 ounce to 1/3 of an ounce of orange juice. And finally, 1/2 ounce of honey syrup. Add ice to your shaker, give that a good solid shake for 10 or 15 seconds, and then strain it into a chilled coupe. And there you have the bee's knees. It's a great colour. Oh, and it tastes great too. Definitely give this one a try. The bee's knees. Cheers. Actually is good. Oh, I'm going to do a fake shaky thing for the camera. And then we're done. All right. You know what? Fuck you. Stay there. I'll do my cocktail a little bit more. Anyway, okay, so that's that. And we're donezo. Donezo. Switching everything off. Switch it up, switch it up. Switching everything off. Bring my cocktail over here. It's a bee's knees. All right. Woo! Done. Oh, nice. Picked up husband from airport all together now. That's really nice. Sure, you say you're drunk and hungry. Bailing, that's fair. Okay, it's actually, well, I mean, I didn't actually doubt it was going to be good. Man, orange juice dominates so much, though. Yeah, I bounced the Circle Light off the fridge because it's a bit harsh if it's straight at me, and I have an extremely pasty complexion, and even there's an orange filter on that light. I have a very pasty complexion, and a light straight at me is really harsh. Plus, it throws a shadow on my green screen, which makes it harder to chroma key. Whereas bouncing it off the fridge, you get this nice diffuse light. it makes it much brighter and a bit orange. So it gives me slightly less corpse-like skin tones. Yeah, it's just less harsh. Yes, Van, white walls or ceiling even. And previous setups I've had for the videos, I've bounced off walls or ceilings. I just happened to have the fridge right there, so I bounce it off the fridge. But yes, much less harsh, unless you've got a real sort of professional setup where you can do 3-point lighting and whatnot, which I don't have because I'm just in the fucking kitchen doing it all myself. You think I would be better after, like, what I'm up to, 17 years of doing this? Good Lord. So, yeah, you'd think I'd be better. But yeah, still have dramas because main thing is I'm impatient. I'm very impatient. A patient person wouldn't have the problems I have. The problems mainly being that I just rush and set things up, and so I occasionally make mistakes. And that's just the way it is, really. So, what are you going to do? Suddenly get professional? Good results with a crappy Logitech webcam. Nice, which is what I'm using for the stream. Bum fungus. Well, I don't know. I know a lot of channels of people who are patient and or have a crew who go to some considerable trouble to set stuff up, and they're very successful. Deservedly so, because they work really hard. And yes, they look a lot more professional than what I do. And yeah, I've just never been asked to do anything but kind of like my ghetto hacks for everything. It is what it is. So, yeah, that's just like looking at my hair growing out. I don't know, it doesn't look weird yet. So I was worried that this would look super weird growing out because that was very, very purple when I first did it. Now it's just kind of brown and it's growing out. So I'm fine with it. Oh, nice, Jude. Just listening while working in the background. Enjoy, and I'll try and keep you company. Dr. Abigail, discovered eating any sugary junk food gives me migraines. Oh, because you cut yourself off from it. Yes. Yes. Okay. That's your body telling you that, yes, you did the right thing. We got that dependence. You got rid of that dependence, and they don't want it back. Are you been doing Zoom job interviews? First question is about yourself. What? Because it looks really good? Okay, here's the thing I don't get. 3 years of working from home, and I do the online meetings with people. I mean, most of the time my work, people aren't that uptight. A lot of time no one bothers to put their cameras on. But the number of times, it's like when people are either doing, because we have all these all-staff presentations people do online, or just in meetings, and it's this shit. Like, what? What the fuck? We've been doing this for 3 years. How the fuck are you still just setting up like that? Like, fucking set the thing up so you're properly framed, for fuck's sake. It's one of my mild annoyances. I can't get over people are still doing it. Wow. Dr. Abigail, maybe that is a breakthrough. You'd been getting migraines that you thought was anxiety, which, reasonable assumption. Maybe, yeah, it's got the stage where sugar has that effect on you. And yes, Jude, that's a good word for it. The talking hair meeting. And people like, because you still, it's less common now, but we had it all through COVID. People doing media interviews by webcams, and like major public figures doing stuff that's going on the fucking news and stuff, and like the webcams pointing up their nose, and they've got lighting that makes them look something between a corpse and a demon. And I was like, what the fuck? You're going on TV. Why don't you take just the absolute basic steps to not look like absolute shit when you're on TV? It fucking does my head in. Yum, yum. All right. Man, there's just like a little bit of orange juice in there, but it really comes through. So I often don't like orange juice cocktails because it dominates too much. And yes, Zvan, good lighting. Although I admit my lighting for most of my work stuff is shit and uncontrolled because I'm facing out that way. So it's often very bright, but at least it's framed up properly. And yes, Jude, some of the politicians I'm thinking about, definitely not mutually exclusive with the whole corpse demon thing. Yep. Well, Zvan, you're getting up to very pro lighting at that point. I have to admit, I just use the natural lighting that's available, which is a bit harsh sometimes. Yeah, it like literally depends how sunny it is outside, what my lighting looks like. But Jesus, well, like I'm not going on TV for a fucking start. But at least frame up properly, for fuck's sake. It's so hard to understand how some of these people presented themselves on TV. Absolutely fucking wild. I kind of got in my head to have some more tequila and do a tequila old-fashioned. Because I can. Ooh. On my barrel-aged honey spirit as well. Okay. Probably depends what sort of mood I'm in and how long ago. Yes, but I mean, Zvan, literally everything about Sky News is very poor quality. But I'm focused. Yes, I am actually working tomorrow. Working from home. I'm betting it's going to be very quiet. Other people in my team are working tomorrow, but a lot of people won't be. A lot of people taking a 4-day weekend. So, and I don't have any meetings scheduled tomorrow. I think it's going to be a very quiet day. I can just catch up on some emails and some meeting prep I have to do. Try and convince a few people to get on board with some shit I'm doing or trying to do. Just to, maybe achieve a couple of things. I might get some deliveries tomorrow, actually. I am waiting on a couple of things, which may or may not arrive tomorrow. Jude, you got a kitty quirk. Female cat loves being petted, but put your face on her fur, she torches herself off immediately. Dirty human faces. Oh, they use really shitty sound. Sound is more important than video, honestly. And again, if someone who fancies themselves as a news outlet has really poor production qualities, Jesus. Okay. Gonna get me a glass to make an old-fashioned. Because I'm an old-fashioned type of guy. It's the only way I describe myself as old-fashioned with relation to what drinks I like. An old-fashioned, namely. I'm going to get a skewer so I can have a cherry. Hey, give my love a cherry. You'd have it no. Alright, añejo tequila for an old-fashioned. I want a big old chunk of ice. So, remove a few things so I can get it in the freezer. Alright. A quick visit to the big ice chunk mold to get a big chunk of ice. All right. Put that back. Where's my agave? Meant to be used for cooking, I use it for cocktails. Agave from Costco. Alright. So, keeping it simple. Where's my Angostura? Oh, here. Just gonna keep this simple. Not try to be tricky. Alright. And the back. So, Dr. Abigail. Waiting for TPU. Special flexible plastic filament for 3D printer. Make things that can be squished. Neat. When you got consumed by Murdoch audio panels, free, build a studio, cost $1,000 per square meter. Okay. Oh, one of those sound deadening rooms. Yes. When it wasn't being used, you sat there to code. Neat. I remember there's the guy who makes videos on YouTube, with a science thing, Veritasium. And he did one in those, the ultra sound suppressed rooms where people say shit like, nobody can stay in here for more than 15 minutes or they'll go crazy. And he thought that sounded like bullshit. So he went in there and he stayed in there for, I think, like an hour or something and only got out because he was getting bored. He proved his point. And so that was an interesting debunking, I thought. Sorry, I just got a mail message. Wait, which browser I logged into? Okay, not that one. Okay, I got a message back from White Possum. Interesting question. Okay, so I asked because I've been using the barrels to age cocktails for a while, and as everyone says, like the first couple times you use it, you get a lot of quality from the wood, from the oak in the barrel, and that effect disappears after a few uses, and I've been using them a lot. So when I barrel age a cocktail now, it picks up flavors from the other things that have been in there, but not so much the oak. So I asked the people from whom I purchased the barrels, is there any sort of trick to, I said, like re-oak the barrel, like to rejuvenate that wood thing? And I just got a response. They said, oh, interesting question. We don't know of any way to re-oak the barrels, unfortunately. I'm sure if you could figure it out, thousands of distilleries would be clamoring for your knowledge. Sorry, I can't be of more help. That's cute. I like that. Oh, yeah. Dr. Abigail, I know he was very shamelessly promoting self-driving as a done deal, whereas it is looking increasingly like vaporware and direct lies from Tesla, saying he took money. But yes, this was just a general thing that he stayed in one of these ultra sound deadening rooms for a long time, basically debunking the idea that you couldn't stay in them because it would drive you crazy. Yes, yeah, I am well aware. I don't know how much money he took from Tesla, but I'm well aware he made videos promoting self-driving vehicles, and the way he expressed they were a done deal was very much not true. So and I guess it's also worth noting, because Tesla has a lot of fanboys, the fact that he took money from Tesla does not, by definition, means he said something that he thinks is untrue. I believe he said stuff that was untrue. I love that, Dr. Bear, you hear two things. Everyone says, yeah, you hear your own blood pumping and a high-pitched ringing, your nervous system. In my case, my tinnitus would go off the charts, I'm pretty sure. I would absolutely not be in silence. I think if I was in one of those sound deadening rooms, there would be very loud sounds in my head. It would be my tinnitus. It'd just be. I actually woke up because I had the worst sort of spike in tinnitus I've had for ages. It was like real serious microphone feedback sounds in my ears. Just awful. And then there was just the low end ringing in my ears for a while, worse than I've had it for quite a while. I did really tear into AZ because AZ was repeating absolute fucking horseshit fanboy stuff about Elon Musk, and I just cannot countenance people perpetuating the myths of Elon Musk. He's a liar and a con man. It's that fucking simple. So, Jude, you have tinnitus in both these. Can I isolate which ear has the high-pitched microphone feedback when you're in a quiet room? I get tinnitus in loud rooms. My tinnitus is so bad, I get it all the time. Most of the time, I can ignore it. But I don't often get the really bad ones, but the really bad ones are sort of lying, like trying to go to sleep, and I'm getting the illusion that someone's basically screaming in my ear. Like it's so fucking loud. It goes from being like a howling wind to someone actually screaming in my ear. Like it's painful. It causes actual pain. And it's all an illusion. Absolutely, Zvan. Elon is Lyle Langley on The Simpsons. Just a fucking con artist. Buys other people's idea. He inherited money from his family's apartheid emerald mine, which is surreal, which he now denies and says that story is not true. It was his story. It it was such a piece of shit and such a product of apartheid privilege. It never occurred to him that people would regard his family making money from an emerald mine under apartheid as bad. And now he fucking denies it. Are you trying to say psychic, Jude, about the screaming in my ears? No, it's tinnitus. It's not spirits. Oh, god damn, that's good. Yum. So we've had this discussion before. Are rich people bad? Depends what you mean by rich. Probably depends what you mean by bad too. A physician. To the best of my knowledge, there is no medical treatment for tinnitus. The tapping thing Mrs. Angry does can help manage it, actually. No, actually, look, he did not help make PayPal. He was doing something else and fucking it up. And then him and his partners bought PayPal. He buys other people's ideas. He bought into Tesla, bought into SpaceX. Yeah, I guess that was related to me talking about Mustafa. You cannot get hyper rich without fucking people over. It's just not possible. Like all these billionaires, you cannot amass that sort of wealth without fucking people over. Usually to the extent of actually killing people. It is very unlikely that there is any billionaire on the planet that hasn't killed people on their path to amass wealth. Best of my knowledge is looking it up a lot online because I have cripplingly painful tinnitus. And from everything I've read, there's no treatment. There's a few kind of suggestions. I have quite severe tinnitus from standing too close to speakers at rock concerts. It's not, some people have mild tinnitus. I have really severe tinnitus. So South African fish. Look, at least Bill Gates was actually good at the thing coding, and Bill Gates was actually smart. Again, Bill Gates, a product of privilege, did not bootstrap himself, did not make it on his own. He's a product of privilege. He never would have got anywhere without the absolute mountains of privilege he grew up with. Oh, saying that's attributed to Jimmy Durante. That's a show business rule. Be nice to the people you meet on your way up, because you'll meet them again on your way down. Have we had a conversation about how sarcasm doesn't work in text? Because I have been to doctors many times over the years, and I've had surgery because of problems I had with my ears. So, yeah, there, again, please don't fucking criticize me for saying to the best of my knowledge. It's implicit in that is there are limits to my knowledge, and I have looked into it. And I tell you what, there is a fuck ton of quackery about tinnitus because a lot of people suffer it to a greater or lesser degree. There is a fuck ton of quackery about it. And I guess that's just a people thing. As soon as if people want relief from something, there will be both good people trying to help, but there will always be charlatans and con artists trying to exploit people's desperations. Like literally any health or social issue attracts fucking con artists. Touch a nerve, like the nerves in my ears that are fucked and send false fucking messages to my brain that there's a really loud noise. Yeah, no, eardrops and whatnot. I know there's a fairly sound hypothesis that tension is part of it. Yes, I did actually get the wordplay there. I suspected that was a very deliberate choice of words. First iPods first introduced volume control. Headphones generally. I always tried to tell people over the years, the various sort of headphones and earbuds. If you're wearing headphones or earbuds and I can hear what you're playing, you are fucking your ears up. It's that straightforward. If you're playing something so loud that a person who's not you can hear what you're playing, you are fucking your ears up. And I say this as someone for whom it is far too late. I have medium damage to my hearing and quite severe tinnitus. So, I mean, I can trace it to the specific fucking concert where I stood too close to speakers, actually climbed a speaker stack, and it was going, and the bass beat was actually doing a breeze that blew my hair. That's how loud the speakers were. I'm a goddamn idiot, basically. And then coupled with, I had a series of really gross inner ear infections as a kid and teenager and adult. That also, and I've had multiple surgeries on my ear because of that. That also fucked my hearing. My right ear is worse than my left. You were trying to talk to Will about the tinnitus thing. Yeah, it's I don't know. Not all forms of tinnitus are permanent. Sometimes it's temporary. But mine is actually quite severe. Oh, see, that won't help. Sat on the speaker stacks at Deviate? No. And Zavan, I think you're probably right there. Better quality headphones. You don't turn the volume as hard. That makes perfect sense. But also there's an environmental thing as well. Like if you're in a noisy environment, unless you are wearing good like noise cancelling headphones, you got a tendency to turn the volume up when you're in a noisy environment to compete with the noisy environment. So can I hear people whispering? Probably depends on ambient noise and how quietly the people are whispering and whether they want to be heard or not. Okay, gross, Justin. Ear pimples. Ugh. Just picking on you for having ear pimples. Megalich got to go. Thanks for hanging out, man. See you another time. I will tell you on the Discord if the pigeons, the carrier pigeons, arrive with the artworks tomorrow. Jude, there are actually competing, from what I have read, there are competing hypotheses on what is literally happening with tinnitus as well, which was interesting to me when I found that out because I thought there was an agreement. I was like, you damaged your eardrums so much, the like sensors, the nerves were sort of traumatized and were sending the noise signals when there was no noise because they'd been damaged. But I think there are actually even competing hypotheses as to what actually is happening with tinnitus. And possibly there's more than one form of tinnitus. Oh, okay, you get the dish. Kirsten, husband's being dramatic. Need to know. I need to know. Yeah, live events or nightclubs will fuck up your hearing. There's no two ways about it. Not even that drunk. I have this urge to actually have another old-fashioned tonight. I probably shouldn't. I probably should just stick with that. Be good. And yes, Jude, that may be the thing. The different causes possibly lend themselves to different treatments. Making me think of it because I had my first really severe bout of tinnitus recently. First severe one for a long time. I might get Mrs. Angry to do a tapping thing. It's been shown to reduce it. See, this again, spot on, Dr. Abigail. Tension headache, migraine, tinnitus, worse. That's like, I think basically everyone reports that. So the tapping thing is a tension reducer because there's strong, at least anecdotal evidence. I don't know if it's been sort of tested in a lab or how you'd test it in a lab, but there's at least strong anecdotal evidence that tension makes tinnitus worse. No, suffer the discus accident wasn't connected to my tinnitus. My tinnitus is from standing too close to speakers at rock concerts. And my hearing damage is a combination of tinnitus and the various inner ear infections I had and surgery I had on my ear. It's complaining about it hot. Well, I'll take your word for it that it's not hot tonight, but Adelaide does get hot. Like, there's a desert just to the... Well, I know you're not in Adelaide. You're out of Adelaide. But there is a desert just to the north. So for tapping, okay. Tapping is a whole thing. There's a thing you say, you think about the thing that's causing you stress, anxiety, or trauma, and you tap. And again, look, this sounds like complete woo-woo bullshit, but I've personally had it work for multiple things. You tap at various points. You tap here while you're talking about things, then here, then here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. And it's weird as fuck, and it makes no sense, but pure evidence, first-hand evidence, it is a weirdly compelling thing that can help you with a whole bunch of stuff. How the fuck it works, no idea. It's some sort of weird voodoo witchcraft, but it works. Dude, your tinnitus sneaked up on you over the years. Yeah, look, most of the time I can ignore my tinnitus. If I ever think about it, it's there. But occasionally there are flare-ups that are really, really quite severe to the point of being painful. Again, for a thing where nothing's actually happening, it causes actual physical pain. It's weird. It's in reflexology. Well, it's acupressure points. So I don't know. It's fucking weird. Like Mrs. Angry uses it in her professional practice as a psychologist. It's weird as fuck. And it is a field that attracts a bunch of fucking weirdos. Like if you look it up online, called EFT or tapping. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. Oh my God, the weirdos online. Because again, it's almost, you get these people, and I'm sure these people are into crystals as well. And it's super weird. You thought the tapping was like flicking your head to stop the ringing. I've never tried that. Certainly doesn't work for me. That feels like a weird question, Safa, because I didn't know that Mrs. Angry watched the tennis, but she was watching the tennis today. She was actually watching it. Says Van, you use smell memory for exams. Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, Scientologists take some stuff that has some validity and then twist it to their deeply fucking evil ends. But again, yeah, no, I've seen it. Because like Mrs. Angry uses it in a professional clinical setting, and she's used it on me. She used me as a bloody test subject. And it's wild the degree to which it works, and it can work for a whole range of different things. But there are some absolute fruit, because it's not true. Get the people who think traditional medicine is evil. You would probably get a shit ton of anti-vaxxers who were into tapping because it's not traditional method, which is bullshit, but you can't necessarily control what freaky idiots do. Okay, well, you've got me hooked there, Svan. You love reading books in your sleep. How do you read books in your sleep using vapor rub? Oh, Reiki gets pretty weird too. That's the trouble. As soon as you're doing something that isn't absolutely establishment medicine, so it's like not pharmaceutical medicine, you get fucking weirdos. You get absolute fucking weirdos. No matter how solid and sound what you're doing actually is, if it falls outside the sort of down the line, doctors prescribing medicines type of stuff, you will attract complete fucking weirdos. It's unavoidable. You can't do anything about it. I mean, I don't know. You could set them on fire. I don't know. Hit them with sticks. But yeah, it's a sad fact of life. You can't control weirdos. Weirdos gonna be weird, basically. And they sometimes drag you into it, and you can't do anything about it. All right. That was nice. Añejo tequila, old-fashioned. It's okay just to call it medicine. Well, there are, whether you want to call them alternative medicines or complementary medicines, there are things outside the strict world of, GPs and specialists using pharmaceuticals, but they still work, or at least they can work in some settings, or they can help. So I try not to be completely judgmental, except about certain things where I'll be super duper super judgmental, because there are some things I just don't tolerate, like anti-vaxxers. Hate them so much. Hate them with a fucking passion. And they're all obsessing about this shit, because there are a couple of cases of people dying, people who weren't super old dying, and they're basically trying to say it's vaccines. It's like, no, it's sometimes people just fucking die, Quoting Tim Minchin. I could bring out a bunch of Tim Minchin quotes that would make you not necessarily be so keen to quote Tim Minchin. Just throwing it out there. Also, he's a comedian and a musician. Neither of which are groups I widely recommend you get your life practices from. So you half read them in study, stress out, sleep, and what I smell lets you... Oh! Wow, sensory stimulation. No, I like that. Oh gosh, you have to live with an anti... Oh, you did actually mention that, yes. I'm like super fucking angry at the moment, trying to weaponize unfortunate health adventures of various people. And it's just like, fuck you. I hate you so fucking much. So have you got lots of... We got a bit of wind today. Not like damaging winds. Occasionally we get the damaging winds here. It was pretty windy today. I think Mrs. Angry was happy because she had stuff on the line, and it's good for drying stuff out. Well, Svan, it's not so much that you're reading in your sleep, But I get what you're saying about processing stuff. It's very interesting, though, that something like VapoRub provides you with a stimulation that helps you store and process stuff in your brain. Yeah, but I mean, smell is very powerful. Smell can evoke a whole bunch of things in humans. We're basically pretty weird, honestly. We are pretty goddamn weird. We are intelligent, thoughtful, analytical, and weird and superstitious and inconsistent and fascinating things, humans, basically. I'm sure there's some aliens out there somewhere doing their advanced postgraduate research on humans. Why are they so fucking weird? Oh no. Dude, under a 50-foot pine tree. So even if you had a washing line, get coated in sap and pine needles. That's not good. That's not good. We have a little courtyard out there with a clothesline. Very handy. So are we monkeys? Are humans monkeys? We're monkeys with anxiety, man. That's monkeys that got smart enough to get depressed about everything. Questionable how big a leap forward that was. So I was also just thinking, I follow Dr. Carl on Twitter, and he is a scientist of the real sort. I forget what his doctorates are in, but he's more, he's a communicator these days. He's a science communicator, and he does wonderful work in encouraging people to have inquiring and questioning minds and to not get too deeply immersed in weird bullshit. But on Twitter, he is so fucking patient with people who just say insane shit like anti-vaxxers, COVID was caused by 5G, all this weird shit. And he'll just really gently go, I don't think that's a thing, or I don't think the science, or point out like, no, there is actually a body of scientific research that supports this thing and whatnot. Whereas my impulse to anyone saying any of this unhinged shit is, you're a fucking moron. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. That's a reasonable call, Jude. We should stop studying the intelligence of animals, start studying the stupidity of humans. That just seems like a quite depressing area of study, quite honestly. Because it's hard to avoid the stupidity of humans. And of course, the relatively recent fun study of the stupidity of humans that people love to quote is the Dunning-Kruger effect, where those two researchers, Dunning and Kruger, through their interviews with people and studies and whatnot, established a consistent pattern that really fucking stupid people are sure they're really smart. Incompetent people are incredibly overconfident about how competent they are. And you get this funny thing where it's like people who deeply research something start to understand the limits of their understanding. So they will be very careful how they express things, and they will hedge things in a way that sounds very ambivalent, whereas morons will say things with absolute surety, which is weird. Sleep paralysis, fun. Okay, once, and it was such a fucking drama. I remember it really clearly. So yes, sleep paralysis is this thing where you're asleep, but your eyes are open. So your brain is getting visual information, which is, you can be conscious or unconscious of it. Like you can consciously know your eyes are open, or it can just affect your dreams. But you can't, at least you can't immediately move or wake up or really understand what's happening. The one time it happened to me, this was a really long time ago, and it was kind of after the fact I realized it was sleep paralysis. I was sleeping with my eyes open. What happened? I was lying in bed, and there was this dream. I was in a dream, and I was trying to find my way down this weird misty corridor. There was this just ephemeral misty corridor stretching ahead of me, and it was freaking me out, and I was trying to move, and it was very hard to move, and it was freaking me out, and and I realized I was dreaming. I was like, this isn't real. This is not real. It's a dream. You're freaking out, but it's a dream. You need to wake up and get out of it. So what I did was get up out of my bed, cross my bedroom, and flick on the light. And the instant I flicked on the light, I snapped back into my bed. I'd never gotten out of bed. That was a dream. And that jolted me, and that woke me up fully. And I just went like, what the fuck? And it was the freakiest thing I'd ever felt. And I calmed down. At the time, I was living in Sydney in a shitty shared house, and it was summer, and there were mosquitoes. I had a mosquito net over my bed. This is in a terrace in Redfern. My bedroom fronted onto the street. It wasn't a major street, but it was a street. And so there were street lights out there that were shining in my bedroom window. So when I saw this misty, ephemeral corridor, what I was seeing was my mosquito net catching the street light. And so it took me a few, I don't know, seconds or minutes. Cogs turned in my head. And because I think it was kind of like when I lay down and I looked up and I realized the mosquito net was what I was seeing in my dream. So I realized, oh, holy shit, I was sleeping with my eyes open, and what I was seeing got into my dream. I was seeing my mosquito net, and that got into my dream. But yeah, I swear to God, the whole thing of my brain trying to tell me this is a dream, wake up, get out of bed, go and turn on the light. And I thought I had gotten up out of bed and crossed the room and flicked the light on. But the instant I flicked the light on, it was like snap back into bed. And that was enough of a shock that I woke up. That was, woof. And I shared this story once with a friend, and she'd grown up with a quite Orthodox Jewish family. And as a kid, like preteen, she had sleep paralysis real bad. And so she would have these dreams, and she could see shit, but she couldn't move. And she would start screaming. And when an adult came into her room to wake her up, it would take a while to wake her up. And she'd just be lying there screaming for a while. And then she'd wake up and just couldn't stop crying. And she couldn't communicate to the adults what was happening. And because her parents were weirdly religious, I think they had decided she was possessed by a demon. Not a great, productive, helpful thing to go down. But yeah, like she had rabbis trying to cure her for it. And it took years before it got to a doctor who went, that sounds like sleep paralysis. And I think they did like a sleep study on her, and they established like, oh yeah, she is sleeping, but her eyes are open, and she gets locked into a dream and she can see stuff, but she can't move. So it freaks her out. But yeah, for years, her family thought she was demonically possessed. That's not cool, is it? Thinking your kid is demonically possessed, and so your kid starts to believe it. Because The parents, adults are all saying that's what's going on. Says Van, you get a lot of sleep paralysis. Well, that fucking sucks, dude. Because my one experience, sleep paralysis, a little bit scary. Oh, you get the falling. Okay, it's not sleep paralysis. I semi regularly have falling dreams though. Also, I have the thing. There's a name for it, and I've forgotten what it is. But when you're just on the edge of sleep, and you're going to sleep, and so you're not fully asleep, you're not fully awake, but you start to dream, and in the dreams you're walking and you miss a step, and so your foot kicks out because you're trying to get your footing. That happens to me a lot. Just when I'm going to sleep, Mrs. Angry does not like it. Just when I'm going to sleep, just really suddenly, just like spasm, and a foot kicks out. And what it is I'm dreaming. I'm not fully asleep, but I've entered a dream state. And in the dream, I miss a step, like I'm walking up or down steps, and I miss a step and I go to fall. And so my foot is trying to find a step, and it just kicks out, wakes me up, wakes Mrs. Angry up too. So, Jude, a thought. If collective belief can will something into existence, well, my first point is collective belief can't will something into existence like a poltergeist. The common belief in the supernatural, I think, is very much influenced by the dream world. And when you get in those phases where you can't tell what's real and what isn't, Palm Fungus, you've kicked a wall. Did it hurt? That's why I tend not to have my feet at a wall in a bed. Are you a feet at the wall sleeper? I'm a head at the wall sleeper. And Safi, your friend did that to you in a tent once. Yeah, it's a thing. I forget. There is a name for it, and I forget what it is. I saw it once. I went, oh, I do that. Someone said this is called a thing. Oh, so you're actually in a corner, so both head and feet wall. Yeah, I'm in a slightly bigger bedroom. My general thing has always been head at the wall and feet the open thing. Although, actually, this one room that I was talking about, where I had the dream and the sleep paralysis, my side was to the wall. Neither my head nor my feet were at a wall. So, says Vine, if you're on your back, eyes open, shadows freak you out. Sleep paralysis fucking sucks because messes with your head. Again, not being able, when something is outside of your normal physical or mental or emotional experiences and you can't control it, that's fucked up. Which then again makes me, why do humans get into hallucinogens so much to get into an alternate mind state? Because we're just fucking weird. And it's not just us. Animals do it. Animals come back to eat things like fermented fruit, so they get drunk, or when they discover some plants have a stimulation, a narcotic, or an hallucinogenic effect, they'll come back and eat more of it. I was going to say that's just humans, but it isn't. Other animals do it. Other animals get drunk and high. It's a real thing. Yes, as a thing. Even as a kid, you like to make yourself dizzy. There are all those. Yep, we love being in altered states of consciousness and physical states as well. I have my cherry before I go to bed. Oh man, I fucking love those cherries. Yum. Oh. Oh well, I think I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna at least pretend to work tomorrow, as Elon Musk would put it. But I actually do have some things to do. Maybe getting some deliveries tomorrow. I'm getting some food delivered tomorrow. I might get some art delivered tomorrow. I might even get some booze delivered tomorrow. I ordered some booze to be delivered for the first time in what seems like ages. But a place I'm on the mailing list for, Nick's Wine Merchant, had some stuff on like half price special. So I'm getting a French apple brandy, Calvados, and grappa, Italian grappa. They were both about half price. I thought, oh yeah, fuck it, half price. I'm getting that. Woo! So I don't know. That's arriving sometime. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week. But anyway, exciting times. Things to look forward to. So I hope all you fine people look after yourselves. I am going to go sleepy bobos. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see what happens. The party night. Never know how long I'm going to last on a Friday night. Probably, I am actually probably, not definitely, but probably doing a Saturday stream as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's all up in the air. Anything could happen. So you all take care. Hope to see you